This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Morning Drive. We'll have the high school fan zone tonight at 6 o'clock, and then the Rangers will get back at it. They'll play host to the Cleveland Guardians starting tonight, and we'll have that game for you on Double T 97.3. Speaking of graduation, here's some familiar names that graduated from a student-athlete standpoint from Texas Tech this past weekend. Jamie, from the baseball team, Derek Bridges, Max Huffling, and Jack Washburn are all now Texas Tech full-fledged alumni.
That's great.
Okay. On the football team, here's some names that you'll know. Brady Boyd. He's off to try to take his talents to the NFL. Tony Bradford Jr., he got a master's degree in public administration. Reese Burkhart, he's going to try to make some kicks for you this year. He's a graduate. Loic Fungi, who is going to take his talents elsewhere but wanted to finish up at Texas Tech and get his degree.
Smart.
So he is a Red Raider for life. Gino Garcia, who also is going to try to make some kicks for you this year. Reese may be the kickoff guy and Gino may be the field goal guy, although it sounds like there's going to be a little competition this summer for that. Quincy Ledette, he's on that list. Braylon Lux, whom Coach Tim DeRuyter talked about a week ago, about him being a big part of his defense coming up. Hayden Wigginton, who may be known more for his country music singing than his football playing, but he now is a Red Raider graduate as well. Nobody from the basketball team graduated, but I don't know that they were here long enough to do that. Be my guess.
I don't know if you need a degree for getting all that NIL money.
There's some truth to that. I mean, you've got to invest it well. You can't just live on that for life.
I'm being sarcastic.
Well, I know. I know you were.
Although some of the money that
you're
hearing is
wow. It'll
take care of you for at least a while.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can chill for a little bit.
You can't chill for a little bit. It's great. It's great. It's great side money. Texas Tech is still apparently in the hunt for Utah State center Great Osobor. According to some, he is one of the biggest names that remains available in the portal. And Jeff Goodman reports that he has visited Texas Tech, Louisville, and Washington, but has not yet made a decision. Apparently, he is the top-ranked player in the portal. He is 6'8". He averaged 17.7 points, 9 rebounds, just about 3 assists. He shot 58% from the field, so you got to think a lot of those points in the paint, right?
Hey, you would think so.
Yeah.
What's his 3-point percentage?
They don't list that.
Okay, so I bet most of it's coming from inside then.
My guess is
he's not a stretch 5. He's a true 5.
Yeah, right. My guess is his next 3 will be his first, but I don't know. Okay, I'd have to look that up, but hope they get him. I mean, that'd be awesome if they could. 24/7 Sports has him as the 7th ranked player in the portal and the 2nd ranked player at his position. So, depending on who you listen to or talk to, but still, I mean, 6'8". I mean, he could help make a difference for you.
Yeah. So it's 6'8". Now, I guess I had envisioned as a true big. It's not. I mean, it's big. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like it's go back to last year with
7-footer.
Warren Washington. You had a 6'11", 7-footish guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know where it stands, and that's very much in flux. As far as.
But college basketball has less true big men now. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of your basketball update for the moment. It does feel like that we hear more and more about the new guys coming in. because they're getting the guys signed, sealed, and delivered. That they have, that have made these commitments, and obviously they'll be here probably for the summer and be here for summer school and then summer workouts as well. So hopefully that roster will come into play. The other thing I'm kind of curious about is what is going to happen with the schedule. When are we going to hear that? There's part of me that just doesn't understand why it takes so doggone long for the basketball schedule to get released. Because, the football schedule was released much earlier. It seems like that's coming earlier and earlier each year, which I applaud.
Weren't we waiting forever for this current Big 12 football schedule?
No.
I felt like this one was extremely delayed.
No.
And remember, people keep asking, when is the Big 12 football schedule being released? I had vivid conversations about those in my head.
That sounds very familiar to me.
I thought that was 2 years ago.
I thought...
it was 2 years ago and last year.
Yeah. Because I feel like we were... when it was announced, I was like, happy day for you, Chuck. And that was maybe only a few months ago.
Yeah.
Really exciting day because you were so antsy about getting that schedule.
Because we didn't know, because they were having to reshuffle everything with Texas and Oklahoma leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, Jeff and I may have just had a little bit of tired head of the yearning for the schedule.
Yeah, well,
that's probably why we remember it better than you do.
maybe so. I guess I felt like that. I guess I felt like the football schedule came out earlier this year than normal. I felt like it came out sooner than what we.
No, there's a lack of sooner on it.
Right. No, there is a lack of sooner on it. I was looking through my email to see the date of when that came out, the football schedule, but I can't.
I don't have an answer for you though. Why it takes so long for the basketball one?
It just seems like. It seems like the runway from when the announcement of football schedule is announced to when the start of the season is much longer than basketball. It seems like we'll get the basketball schedule in August, we'll probably get it sometime in August, and the season starts in November. Whereas
in baseball, sometimes it's early December.
Yeah,
and
right.
they start in February.
Right.
So baseball's the same as basketball.
Yeah. Makes me scratch my head on that a little bit. But anyway, I'm just curious about this.
There's a little more flexibility with those sports, and so they're working on it.
Or there's more.
You're not trying to book 75 hotel rooms.
Yeah, there's more. There's more games too.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think basketball still has 75 hotel rooms they book.
Probably so.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
For this day in sports history, today is Monday, May the 13th, 2024. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start us off in 1942. Pitcher Jim Tobin belts 3 home runs in a game. 1950.
Pretty impressive for a pitcher.
Pretty impressive for anybody.
Unless he's Babe Ruth.
No, I'd still consider 3 home runs in one game impressive.
That's fair.
1955, Mickey Mantle hits 3 consecutive home runs of at least 463 feet.
Goodness.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Sense a theme here.
Nah, just the way it worked out. Okay. 1958, Major League Baseball player Stan Musial is the 8th player to get 3,000 hits. 1976, the 9th and final ABA championship took place. The New York Nets beat the Denver Nuggets 4-2. 1985, Carlton Fisk becomes the 5th catcher to steal 100 bases.
Mercy.
Carlton Fisk stole 100 bases?
Correct.
I just can only remember him late in his career when he was slow as all get out.
Wearing number 72 for the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, I was going to say I remember way more for the White Sox than the Red Sox. I know he did bigger things for the Red Sox, but it's just my era of my age, whatever.
Yeah.
But man, he was a big lumbering guy.
Yeah, he was not a skinny man.
If you had told me he had less than 10 career stolen bases, I wouldn't have been surprised.
But when he was playing for the Red Sox, especially like if you look at video of him with the 75 Red Sox. He was a small, slender man at that point in time. But he had power, obviously. He had a big home run that night in Boston against the Cincinnati Reds. They would go on to lose that World Series. A lot of people think that Fisk wins the World Series with that big home run.
And they would be wrong.
Well,
because
since
the
we
Red
know
Sox
that the Red Sox went 86 years without winning,
right.
so clearly they didn't win.
Yeah.
1993, Kansas City Royal George Brett hits his 300th career home run. 2015, former Red Raider A.J. Ramos gets his first career save, striking out 2 in a perfect ninth inning in a 5-4 Marlins win over the Dodgers. And in 2018, Texas Tech men's track and field team had a banner day at the Clyde Hart Stadium at the 2018 Outdoor Track and Field National Championships, sealing multiple individual titles and the men's all-around outdoor track and field championship. The men's team finished the day with 165 points, the most points scored in the outdoor championship by any team since the last realignment. It's National Apple Pie, Fruit Cocktail, and Jamie Lent Rap Name Day.
LL Cool Jamie.
I thought you were a little crouton.
Oh. Yeah. Whatever. That guy. I don't accept nicknames from Jayhawks, except for Jerk Jamie, because I own that one.
Happy birthday,
But
Stevie.
that's self-imposed.
I didn't give it to myself.
Who gave it to you?
Well, you gave it to me, and I think your wife hopped on board.
No.
So
I don't remember it like that.
That's a Heinz family deal.
No, it's not. I thought that was your wife that gave you that.
No. She says I need to be nicer to you, but
Okay.
she's never called me Jerk Jamie.
Okay, well, my wife's never called you Jerk Jamie.
That's not what you told us.
Don't remember
See, this
that.
is why you don't share everything.
I don't remember
People
that.
remember the things that you say. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Stevie Wonder, who's 74. Dennis Rodman, 63. Darius Rucker, 58. Stephen Colbert, 60. And Barry Zito is 46. And
Barry Zito, shockingly not featured at all in Moneyball.
Yeah, neither.
Just
all three of them.
really odd.
Had that great win streak. I wonder who got those wins, Jamie?
Yeah. No, it was about a catcher turned first baseman's on base percentage. That's what it was. It wasn't having 3 aces. No.
Not at all. 1948, U.S. Congress overwhelmingly votes in favor of President James K. Polk's request to declare war on Mexico in a dispute over Texas. Under the threat of war, the United States had refrained from annexing Texas after the later won independence from Mexico in 1836. But in 1944, President John Tyler requested negotiations with the Republic of Texas, culminating in the Treaty of Annexation. The treaty was defeated by a wide margin in the Senate because it would upset the slave state, free state balance between North and South and risk war with Mexico, which had broken off relations with the United States at that point. But shortly after leaving office and with the support of President-elect Polk, Tyler managed to get the joint resolution passed on March 1st, 1845. Texas was admitted to the Union on December 29th. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, it's 6:51 this morning. Time for your secret lucky local winning word. All right. If you will go to doublet973.com. If you have not signed up, you still can. And register and enter this word. And you could win $250 from Double T 97.3 in the home zone, making your house a home. This is a local contest, not a national deal. So those of you that speed along 98th Street on a daily basis can also be a participant. Okay?
Speed along.
Okay. Buccaneers is your word. Buccaneers, Buccaneers. If I'd have asked you to spell Buccaneers, would you have known there were 2 C's and 2 E's in it?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So Buccaneers, go to doublet973.com. Enter that word in. You could be a winner tomorrow for $250. And then we invite you on June the 20th. Put that on your calendar and come out to Two Docks. Okay. Because you could win $2,500 that night. So we're going to add a 0 to it. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. This from T-Bone. Jamie, did I hear that Tech will finish 10th and make the Big 12 tournament? I'm not sure if the seeding is set yet for 10th, or if there's still a chance that you could finish 9th, depending on how the ties and everything went for that.
Yeah, let's see. With the UCF at 12 and UCS 12 and 15. And technically, I guess you could finish in front of them. Yeah, so I guess you could finish 9th.
So, but here's the deal, T-Bone. They're going to be in the Big 12 tournament at this point. So,
yes. So that's guaranteed at this point, but you'll be 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
Can't finish ahead of K-State or TCU. So.
Yeah.
He may be getting tripped up on forever. It was 9 teams made the Big 12 tournament, and now 10 make it because we added 2 that play baseball in the offseason last year. Mm-hmm. So now 13 teams total play baseball as opposed to the 10. As opposed to the 9.
Well, we added 4 teams that play baseball.
4 teams that play from 9 taking us to 13, so 10 make the Big 12 tournament.
Correct. Yeah,
that
we added
may be where we're getting tripped up.
Yeah, we didn't add just 2. All 4 of them play. Now, next time we're going to add 4 schools, but only 3 of them play.
2 schools that are new to the Big 12 did not fare as well in baseball as they did in basketball, or maybe even in track. Houston and BYU will be at the bottom. Houston right now a game up in the win column, 2 in the loss column over BYU. BYU looks like they're going to finish dead last in the Big 12 baseball. And Oklahoma has clinched the Big 12 championship regular season title. They're 21-6 after their weekend of work.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Thank you for being with us today. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open today on the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. All right, a couple things here. Somebody says this: if TCU or Texas would have canceled in this situation, you would be killing them right now. Is that fair? Probably. Probably. Is what it is, right? I don't know.
I have no idea how long.
We would be killing themselves.
I have no idea how long before the rain stopped. It was a long time before it stopped with me driving out of town. I know that much.
With you driving out, the rain was following you pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This.
And remember, that's a natural surface. So, it was not just when the rain stopped, but, it was going to be wet there for quite a while.
Soggy track. Plus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did they cover the infield in that situation? Did they have a tarp to cover the infield?
Yeah. It was covered. So that was good.
Let's see here. Tech softball did not finish last this year, winning 3 more conference games than last year, but they were routed by the Horns 4 times. Will Kirby have any comments about the program today? I doubt it. I don't think there'll be any kind of a press guy. They did not make the NCAA tournament. They were apparently among the first 4 out. Let's see. Chuck, so there were other people in the field with you, and you were sort of alone. No, you weren't sort of alone. Sometimes you talk just to hear yourself. Well, there's probably some truth to that. Sometimes I do. We get this. Definitely need to be away from light pollution to see it. Clouds didn't help. The camera makes it look brighter than it was, but I could still see it with my eyes. This is taken just a few miles north of Shallowater. Bruce from Shallowater, and he puts a picture of the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Nice work, Bruce.
Yeah. Very good. Somebody says this, Jamie, thanks for giving the boy a ride back after being left at the ballpark Saturday night. Did you give somebody a ride?
I did, and I found out on the ride back that he's a Morning Drive listener, too. So this must be his dad.
How old was this young man?
He's one of the athletic the team managers.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
so he's a college kid.
It wasn't like it was an 8-year-old.
No. He's
Good.
18, 19, 20. And good dude. We had a good conversation, and there was actually a couple of them. They had loaded up the bus and went back in to make sure that they had gotten everything, and I guess the bus thought they were on. And so luckily I was not gone. I had not left yet, so I quickly zoomed over there and scooped him up. And
good for you.
Two good dudes, and we had a good conversation. And like I said, I found out he was a Morning Drive listener.
Yeah. Nice.
So, a lot of fun.
Nice. I bet you they were starstruck when they realized that who you were.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I'm around them enough. I don't think they think of me as a star. They think of me as the weird radio guy who really never talks.
Okay. Well,
there's two weird radio guys with the baseball crew.
I shudder to think what they would think if they were with us on the basketball side of things. They would probably be like, "Oh my God, put me back in baseball where those guys don't say a word." Mm-hmm. That's probably just keep your head down and kind of move on. 7:19 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I have a new, and we're going to have a lot of these. This is a Big 12 postseason power rankings, okay, by a guy from CBS Sports. His name is Shahan Jarajah, I'm going to say. Okay, Shahan Jarajah. He has Utah as the top team in the Big 12. Probably going to see a lot of this. He said when Cameron Rising is in the lineup, he's their quarterback, the Utes rang among the best teams in college football, posting a 19-6 record with 2 conference championships. However, Rising's knee will be the biggest question marks, but the Utes solidified the offense with 3 wide receiver transfers and 2 tight ends, along with some quarterback depth in the form of former 5-star Sam Heward. If the defense can come along, the Utes are the clear team, Jamie, to beat in the Big 12. Do you buy that?
I don't know about clear. I definitely think they're near the top.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they deserve to be in the conversation. I think it's the team that I continue to pick, but I don't know about clear as far as to pick to win the conference.
Is that K-State?
No, I just think I put K-State in the mix with them.
Yeah, Oklahoma State.
With Oklahoma State, with Utah. I mean, I don't think Arizona's too far out of it. I don't think your Red Raiders are too far out of it as well. And so I just don't know about, I don't jump out on that clear favorite, but I think they're definitely one of them.
He has Kansas State as number 2. He said the Wildcats narrowly trail Utah for the number 1 spot in the Big 12, but the 2022 conference champs will have plenty to say about the race for the crown. Okay, he says that the coach, Chris Kleiman, made a risky move by letting incumbent quarterback Will Howard walk to Ohio State. But I've seen Avery Johnson as, among those that could contend for a Heisman Trophy, the guy that will be the K-State quarterback.
Well, he's put in a great situation, right, to succeed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at Ohio State, where they've got plenty of talent around him, he's got lots of experience. He's played in big games. So, yeah, you could understand him being one of those Heisman favorites.
No, Avery Johnson being the Heisman.
Johnson being the Heisman favorite. Okay, well, I've heard Howard is a guy that people think will have an awesome season. I don't know about Avery Johnson.
He'd be a contender, maybe not a favorite, but a contender.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in that conversation. I think he'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dynamic.
I don't know that. I'd love to know if Will Howard, Chris Kleiman said, we're going to let you go. We just don't think that we can get to where we need to be. Because, Will Howard looked like your consummate kind of K-State prototype quarterback.
Yeah, I'm sure it went. Will Howard said, hey, coach, am I going to be the starter and take the majority of the reps? And he said, I don't know. It's probably a battle between you two. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to go somewhere else.
And then you also kind of wonder, to be honest, how much money was involved at Ohio State versus Kansas State.
Okay.
I mean, you wonder what...
I think if Will Howard was the clear-cut starter at Kansas State...
He would have stayed.
He would have stayed.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as Texas Tech, he has the Red Raiders all the way down to number 9, Jamie. This is what he says. The Red Raiders failed to meet lofty expectations in Joey McGuire's second season. That's true. But Texas Tech quietly finished with a winning Big 12 record in back-to-back seasons for the first time since Mike Leach was fired in 2009. That, too, is true. The return of running back Taj Brooks spurs what should be fun offense, electrified by the addition of 5-star receiver Micah Hudson. Man, a lot's on that young man's shoulder. The top recruit in program history. Defensively, the Red Raiders have been solid under Tim DeRuyter. Close game luck flipped in 2023, but could flip again and get Texas Tech back into the Big 12 title conversation.
So he picked them 9th,
yeah,
but said they could get in the Big 12 title conversation.
If the
way to cover all your bases, homie.
if the close game luck flips in 2023 in 2024 to 2020 from 2023. Yeah, he did. He that was a pretty broad brush that he painted there, but he has you in 9th. The last team in the conference, he has Arizona State at number 16. He has Houston at 15, Cincinnati at 14, BYU at 13, and Baylor at 12, Colorado at 11, and TCU at 10. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing TCU at 10. I have a hard time seeing the Red Raiders at 9. I don't
know what to think about TCU this year. I don't expect them to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think somewhere in that range probably is fair. That would be probably what I would predict.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is 7:25. Jamie's question of the day is next.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, I apologize if I've been heavy with Red Raider football of late, but we're going to stick with that.
No, don't reason to apologize.
Looking forward to what could be a really exciting and entertaining season.
I'm hopeful.
Okay, so simple question for you today.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot answer Baron Morton's health.
Okay. Seems to be I'm told what I can't answer on a pretty regular basis, and it's always Baron Morton's health. Okay.
So, what are you worried about?
What am I worried about?
With this year's football team.
Okay, the first thing that just pops into my head, and some of this is a little recency bias from that CBS article, but it feels like, and maybe because he didn't play in the spring because he had a little work done on his knee, it just feels like a lot of hope and prayer and expectation are based on a freshman wide receiver, albeit given that he is it's recruiting status is he's your highest recruit in program history. But I just feel like there's an awful lot of pressure on Micah Hudson to perform at a pretty high level year one. So I'm going to say I feel like that we're expecting too much out of one young man to turn things around.
I feel like that's been something Jeff has been saying. Yeah.
That's not the first thing that popped into my head for what I'm worried about, but yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah. And it was interesting, like he didn't even mention, Kelly from Washington State or whatever in that article.
Right.
And I think you could see him have just as good of a season as Micah Hudson or somewhere close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your offensive line, specifically in pass blocking, I'm going to be worried about that until they do it. There's nothing. There's no recruiting. There's no signing. There's no spring practice tape that I can watch. There's no comments from the coach I can hear. I need to see them against big uglies from a D1 football school that's got full of scholarships that playing against you and you actually block them well. And until I'm not worried about them, that's just where I sit with them. You haven't had quarterbacks healthy. Now, granted, that I'm not. It's not always their fault. Your quarterbacks have run themselves into some trouble over the last few years, but it's also the unnecessary hits that get through that cause some problems and lead to some happy feet, leading to quarterbacks getting hurt. And I'm going to be worried about that until after Washington State.
Okay, until after Washington State.
At least.
All right. Well, hopefully it gets answered then, and you're not worried anymore.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's potential, though, or there is potential, though, that you could have to worry about that all season long.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily unheard of for me.
Okay, I really have two for me. Okay? Would you guys allow me to answer?
Absolutely.
Will you give me two? You give me two?
We work for you, so yes.
I'm worried that, and I loved Coach DeRuyter's answer to the question last week, but I'm just worried about losing great leaders on the defensive side of the football. Mm-hmm. And I do think college teams need great leaders. And I just think that Hutchins and Bradford were that and more.
Massive.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And they were, I mean, on the field and on the sidelines, and I
you have to assume off the field too, right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. You would think so, the character that those guys showed. I just think those guys were great leaders. And I guess until we see other guys kind of step into that role, and I worry about that. Obviously, they were good football players too, not just leaders. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that comes from being a good leader more times than not. I think those guys were really important to that defense, and just kind of who you were, and run stuffing, and being just, the guys that kept everybody in line, and the guys that acted right and made sure you acted right too, and all that. So I worry about losing those kind of leaders. Okay.
And I'll say this for Coach DeRuyter. I mean, just times that I think I've been to enough of his availabilities, whether it's on a Monday after a game or, leading into the game or whatever. I feel like he's a truth teller. And I don't think he would have said we don't have any leaders, but I also don't think he would have said he felt like that he had players that had that leadership capability if he didn't believe that.
Yeah, no, capability is one thing.
Yeah.
I bet he truly believed what he said, but we just have to wait and see if it actually transpires.
Sure. What's your other concern?
My other concern is, I don't really know how to describe this, but it's like I want to compare. I'm worried that Taj Brooks is going to have the season after like Gavin Cash is having. Mm. Gavin Cash is having a great season, right? He's hitting above 300. He's 13 homers. He's leading the team in RBI, but it's nowhere close to that superstar year of a year ago, right? Where he hit 26 out and had 80-something RBI. And I think I remember telling you guys, if he got anywhere close to 20, I would think it would be a great second year here for Texas Tech. And it doesn't look like he's going to get to 20. But he's having a solid season. It's not spectacular. And I just worry a little bit with defenses saying, okay, Taj is not going to surprise anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, that defenses are fully going to be focused on Taj. And that what we expect of him in these monster numbers, just like last year, he won't be able to hit those numbers. And so that's where you really have to rely on, okay, well, that should open things up in the passing game. Okay? So that's where we really need to see that passing game step up compared to last year.
Well, I think those were two really good answers. And I think I like the analogy between Cash and Brooks. And I hope Taj is better than what Cash has had.
Yeah, just, last year he was a dude, and this year he's just a really good player.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We've got a little breaking news here for you. This is apparently about a half hour old, but I'm just seeing it for the first time. Utah State transfer Great Osobor, who some say is the top available player in the NCAA portal, has committed to Washington, according to ESPN. And he told ESPN this. He was the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. He had Texas Tech on his list in addition to Washington. Now listen to this. This kind of plays into the next story from what Urban Meyer had to say. His name, image, and likeness agreements will give him the highest known valuation in college basketball at $2 million. $2 million. His NIL agreements, which include marketing assurances, were negotiated by agent George Langberg of GSL Sports.
Local grocery store? Some car dealerships in Washington, Chuck?
I have no idea. Mm-hmm. He says this, I would like to thank God for...
Girls Club out there?
Yeah. He says this, I would like to thank God for putting me in this position. Washington will allow me to maximize my potential as a player in my final year of college eligibility. Coach Sprinkle has been with me every step of the way since I came from England, and I cannot wait to help the Huskies get back to the NCAA tournament.
Did he talk about how nice their facilities were? The community?
He committed to Washington over similar opportunities from Louisville and Texas Tech.
The fan base?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He had 1 year of eligibility after spending his first 2 years at Montana State. He was recruited by new Huskies coach Sprinkle. Osobor followed Sprinkle to Utah State and now to Washington. But $2 million.
We had heard the rumor. We had heard the rumor was 1.5.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is just absolute crazy money. Crazy money. Even the 1.5 is crazy money. Even the 1 million. How about even the 0.5 is crazy money, right?
Sure.
But that's kind of what we're up against here. He said this in the ESPN article, I was not a highly recruited player coming out of England with only a few Division I offers. Assistant coach Chris Haslam had a huge part in recruiting me to Montana State, and I owe him a lot for that. I'm more motivated than ever to show young kids that it doesn't matter where you come from. If you put in the work and necessary sacrifice, your time will come. But,
all true.
But $2 million. Here's the crazy thing about all of this is, again, his NIL agreement was negotiated by an agent, which when all this stuff started, it's way out of what the intent was, it seems like, right? But it's not an arms race anymore.
Whose intent?
Well, that's a great question. It just seemed like the intent wasn't to have things negotiated by agents to the point where it was going to be $2 million. Here's the headline from Urban Meyer, the former Ohio State coach and Florida coach, and also Jacksonville Jaguar coach. Didn't work out so well for him in the NFL. He believes that NIL in college football has evolved into cheating. That's not what the intent is. Man, are you behind the times? He called it cheating during an interview on the Lou Holtz show. I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize that Lou Holtz had a show, and I kind of thought Lou Holtz was dead. But at any rate, he was on the Lou Holtz show, okay?
He maybe still is. They just name it in his honor.
Could be, right? Urban Meyer is 59 years old, but man, does he sound old when he says this. He said, NIL is great, but lamented the arms race it has created. If you're a woman basketball player like the great girl from Iowa and they want to put her on a billboard and pay her, they should be able to do that. But that's not what happened. What happened is the arms race of collecting money from donors, and the donors are simply paying players. That's what I understand is happening, and I don't like that. Well, yeah, that's what's happening, Urban. It's exactly right. He said if Lou Holtz or Urban Meyer or Marvin Harrison Jr. or C.J. Stroud, they want to go use their name and help sell cars, help a business, that's great. But to have a 17-year-old demand money for a visit, to pay these players a lot of money to go visit a charity for 20 minutes, and they write you a check for $50,000, that's cheating. That's not what this is all about. I'm very disappointed in where it went.
And Urban Meyer would know about cheating.
Right.
He's an authority.
That's what the laughable part was when I teased that story. It was like, it'll make you laugh.
It's not cheating, though, Urban.
It's not.
It's allowed.
It's where it is.
To be cheating.
He said,
and that's where he's getting confused, because this is what he got in trouble for: is the paying student athletes and doing other things with recruiting and whatnot, and giving unnecessary benefit or unallowed benefits to players that they would sign with Ohio State and Florida and every place he's gone to that he got in trouble with. That's why he thinks it's cheating, because he got in trouble for it.
Maybe I'm just in the dark here. I don't remember Urban Meyer ever getting in trouble.
I just remember the NCAA was knocking on the door at Florida before he left with a quote-unquote heart condition, and then went to Ohio State, and they started knocking on the door as he was leaving again.
Yeah, I don't know that he ever got caught, but I seem to kind of recall some of what Jeff is saying.
Okay.
They were coming, and then he quit.
The gum shoes, when they still had gum shoes, the footsteps were... He could hear the... Yeah,
because the NCAA is knocking down teams' doors right now trying to get... Or even 5 or 6 years ago, trying to get the football blue bloods to be put on probation.
It's been 6 years since he's coached, 2018. He said there's these things called collectives, right? It's almost like, man, have you been asleep for 5 years? He said there's these things called collectives where they go out and get money from donors and get this big, giant, massive money, and they pay players. That's not what the intent is. Well... It may not be what the intent is, but that's what reality is. Man. Somebody says this, wow, forget facilities. Washington must have a big bag of money. Must have a big bag of money.
Or one of their donors does.
Right.
They just want to help the basketball team.
D-Rock, if you work hard, you too can make $2 million for basically... playing basically semi-pro basketball.
Knowing the number, are you sad he's not a Red Raider?
No, I don't think I am. But I mean, it just makes me wonder, how close did we come? It's like, did we bow out at 1.5? Say, hey, 1.5s are all we got.
It's funny because I've said before about like major league teams or whatever. Hey, I just want my team to try, right? And if that means that they're going to spend a lot of money to put together a big roster, why do I care? I just want them to try.
Yeah.
And I'm totally flip-flopping. I'm totally hypocritical when it comes to college sports. Like, if a guy came here and demanded $1 million, hey, I want to play for you if you pay me $1 million, I'd be like, man, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. But I don't want that for our college athletes, but professional athletes, different deal. But that's me being a bit of a hypocrite.
There's a part of me that I would rather not know.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
Yes, I would
100%.
I would rather not know. It's like, you hear the rumor about, let's just say you hear the rumor about Taj Brooks, regardless of how vital the rumor is or how accurate the rumor is. It's that
Taj doesn't bother me. Because Taj, and I don't know what the rumor is, but Taj has played for us for a bunch of years, and whatever he got, again, I don't know what the rumor is, wherever he's getting, I feel like he's earned it. He's been here. He chose us because he loved Texas Tech. He waited his turn. He played behind Sir Roderick. He got his turn. He killed it, and we're rewarding him. I have no issue with that. These guys that are coming here demanding it to come play for us, completely different feel.
It's the hired assassin.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.